Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Real Talks One podcast. So, today we are going to do deep dive to really understand in 2026 what is the direct impact of AI and what is exactly happening across the sectors so that we as individuals can prepare ourselves, see the writing on the wall, and act accordingly. So I would like to start out with software development or coding in particular because I myself belong to that field and a lot of viewers on this channel also seem to be from tech and IT and related areas. You have seen many of my past podcasts, and I have been projecting that by 2030 we should see a massive disruption whereby close to 50 to 90% of the teams will get disrupted, and really a lot of people will lose jobs by that time. But 2030 is still 4 years down the line, right? We need to understand what is going to happen in 2026 itself, what is happening around us, and really understand how this AI train is picking up, which are the stations, which are the domains it is impacting as we speak right now. So this conversation is going to be in present, not futuristic. There is a comment by Akshay. Let me read it. Sir, I'm seeing jobs which require cloud and cursor environments as a must rather than any specific programming language. I think this is the future for SUI. A good point, basically. So, prompt engineering is what you are referring to, but this is also going to be very, very short lived. This is not going to be completely foolproof. So, today there could be jobs about Claude, Cursor, if you know AI, how do you know AI tools and things along those lines. But understand that the kind of rapid innovation that is happening in the AI, especially the agentic AI that we are kind of focused upon now, is going to even automate those prompt generations as well. We will be coming to autonomous agents which do not even require any kind of prompting. They will understand from the environment, make their own decisions, and go on from there. So we're heading towards that kind of a workflow, not where you will have an active human who is prompting and again doing and prompting and again doing. We're moving towards more kind of agentic process which requires zero prompting. Once it is set up, it works autonomously. Maybe once in a while you can audit it, validate it, verify it, etc. But you don't need an active kind of prompting and getting the results. So that's where the train has already shifted, and in the workflows which are well defined, which are very repetitive in the way, that's how it is happening right now. uh, Prompting is still required. A lot of people are doing it when you are trying to build something new, something new system design or new artifact, or you're writing a white paper. You can use prompt. It will give you like a first cut or rough cut, and then you can keep prompting and iterating with it until you reach a state which is acceptable to you. There I can understand prompting is used, and it can be both in coding as well as like authoring a paper, building a presentation, doing a creative kind of an environment. In all those areas you would do active prompting, and you will iterate it back and forth until you arrive at a state which you think is suitable to work further. So in those pursuits, yes, prompting will be very much required. But in rudimentary like CRUD applications, full stack applications, things which are very well understood, have been done n number of times in the past, there an autonomous agent can just go ahead and just build it end to end. You don't need continuous back and forth and things along those lines. And if you see the total amount of work in IT industry, uh, if I just were to include all the which companies, the traditional back process, like outsourced job or back end processing, and as we call them as uh, which companies, most of their jobs were around maintenance and testing and rudimentary applications. Actually, that's where the bulk of the job was for these which companies and system integrators. So all those jobs are going to be now done by autonomous agents, and it has already started, and that's the reason you see such a heavy stock drop as soon as when the cloud came out with their plugins for various like legal, compliance, and other industries. You saw immediate impact on all the witch and consulting stocks, because that's the kind of work they do, and they make money from a lot of banking and retail companies, etc., doing this kind of work. Now, this kind of work can directly be done by autonomous agents who can do all this repetitive work of like uh, manual entry in the databases, updating the website, look and feel, color compression, localization, globalization, all those things that were required, but had kind of repeated element in them. They did not have much of innovation or creativity. Those things immediately will be taken over by agentic AI, and I'm seeing that in action now. I'm not talking about 2030. I'm talking about 2026, where companies are already doing this. In fact, all the people that I have talked with, even in companies that are not like Meta, Google, so of course, Meta, Google, Amazon, they are using it heavily, but they are also in the forefront, right? So even the companies outside of them, which are not any of these magnificent seven companies, even they have integrated co-pilots and other kind of coding tools in their workflows. And in fact, pretty much most of the code nowadays, from anywhere between 50% to 90% of the code, they are generating through these coding tools. Now, this is also bringing another kind of a problem. Sometimes, people just stop using their brain and they just write an English prompt and expect the Claude or whichever copilot that they are using to generate the code for themselves. Now, the problem with this is if you keep overusing it, then you are going to eat a lot of tokens, and these tokens are not free. So people have started encountering a situation whereby cloud stops responding, or their bill starts going very very high, so they have to stop, or just Claude or any of these AI tools will put you to a like a temporary hold, or say that we are no longer available, we will be available after 24 hours and things like that. So they have started putting limits because people have started using them mindlessly actually, and that's where the problem is. In fact, I recollect that just a couple of weeks back, I think uh, Cloud had a kind of an incident, so it was unavailable, and immediately across the world, the number of check-ins for GitHub and all dropped significantly, because people were now completely helpless. They were not able to think through their mind because they were used to just doing vibe coding. So I think we need to understand very well that if you are over dependent upon this so it's like a double-edged sword. So you need to use all codecs and Cloud Code and OpenClaw and all these different kind of tools that will help you create systems and agents and multi-agent systems and whatnot. But if you over rely on these systems and your brain doesn't work, and if suppose they are not available and you can't code by yourself, even then you're completely doomed, because either you will hit a situation whereby they will put limits that how much you can use the systems, and if the limit is already reached, then you cannot be productive, and that's bad for you as well. Or the other way around, when the incident happens or the systems are completely unavailable because some error or bug happened in them, again you will be in a standstill position. So that's even bad, right? So there is another question. Let me pick it up. Mr. Uday Kiran Patnaik. I still feel that domains like smart world, smart spaces, construction, oil and gas, airport are still not so useful, as these are specific to domain, and people with domain knowledge will have more value. You are right. In fact, even in coding, people with domain knowledge actually have more value. People who are just good at coding are no longer good enough, because it is easiest thing to replicate nowadays. Like CRUD coding or basic full stack app coding, etc. Any AI tool can now do it better actually than what a normal, let's say, an entry level or a mid level engineer will write. So I have even illustrated this point also about pie shift skills. You can check out my podcast there. that unless an engineer can think in the terms of business and impact, they don't have product sense, they will not be useful, because just coding alone will not differentiate you, because now an agent can also code the same way as you would do, unless you are a very deep level coder, in the sense that you have very highly specialized deep skills, let's say in distributed computing, or you can really write a very strong multi-threaded application which is not easy to mimic and things like that. So if you belong to that category, sure, I think that itself is a domain knowledge in itself. Like, if you write general purpose code and things like that, that any AI can replicate like really easily. But if your code is super sophisticated and it uses lot of technical intricacies, etc., generally this happens in distributed computing and back end coding, or if you implement your own machine learning algorithms, not calling the APIs on Python, or building a website on TypeScript and things like that. But if you are writing your own algorithms for let's say sliding window protocol, writing your own communication buffers, you are able to interact at operating system level, networking layer level, and things like that. That part is very difficult, and that is not what AI is replicating, but more application software, updating websites, downloading website, entering in the database, updating the database. Those kind of basic application that AI can do like really well. So the distinction has to be there. So if a person works in like financial industry or banking or insurance or retail, telecom, healthcare, etc., there are a lot of nuances of like what is meant by a provider. In a healthcare setting, you need to understand doctor, you have to understand insurance, you have to understand patient, HIPAA compliance, like how those compliance have to work through, what is acceptable, what is not acceptable. So all those nuances are very important, and hence a engineer who is able to understand in that context can write a better healthcare software than a complete novice who has zero understanding of healthcare, and all they can do is just follow a spec and write coding. In that scenario, an agent would work out better than a physical software engineer. So as you can imagine, majority of the software engineers are of the secondary category. They can only follow a spec, whatever their product owner or product manager says, they will implement it, but they have zero understanding of how it impacts the business, or what is product sense, like how does this impact as an overall product. They have zero understanding of that. All they care about it, okay, I've built a class, this is how the abstraction is, this is how I'll use polymorphism, this is my objects and whatnot. If that's all they understand, for them the train has already left the station. It's just the, I would say, moment of time before they get laid off. So these people have to be very very careful. Any day this can happen. Even if your company makes millions of dollars, they're profitable, they keep claiming we are a family and all. It's not true, because when the rubber hits the road, when the layoff notice comes from the top, people will get slaughtered no matter what. So that is going to happen. So let me also pick up couple of more comments that have come across. So, Mr. Uday Krishnan Patnaik, AI tools can help to sharpen the domain knowledge, but when you develop software for these domains and customers, AI can help you to speed up the task, but not end-to-end development, unlike pure software. Sure, exactly. So, I think the real meat that AI creates is now is getting you from zero to one, MVP or POCs. Those areas, I think it really helps you. So at least the barrier to entry, or getting started, it basically has minimized the time for that, right? So that itself is a lot of help. And other thing is, now when I work with the autonomous agents, if I'm working with a very straightforward simple, like a application based software, like a front end kind of like a full stack website, etc., not super complicated, autonomous agents are able to even handle that as well. So if I have to build a like a online shop, right? If I have a product and I have to sell, and I go to an agent and say, build me a like a e-commerce website that allows me to sell a specific item, and done with it, with payment gateway integration and all, it will actually build you that website. but it cannot build Amazon, it cannot build Flipkart, because those are extremely complicated websites with their search and recommendation engine and bunch of other things that they have. But if it is a very plain vanilla kind of a product, then autonomous AI agents are even able to do end-to-end systems. So I think you have both kind of varieties out there. So let me read another comment. Akshay, yes, but sir, to understand what is going on in the software, one needs to know how that software was made and what is its function. So basically, the role of CV would just be like orchestrating agents, kind of. So majority of the people right now in fine companies are basically managing agents. That's what is happening. So rather than actually writing code, they have moved to basically orchestrating agents, and agents are the ones basically writing code. So I think the role of a software engineer has now transitioned into more like an architect who will understand what the business use case is, translate it into like subtasks, technical subtasks, and then assign it to each and every different agent, and then validate the output that these agents are doing, and make sure when they integrate it to the overall system, the system still works. So reviewing, validating, QAing has become much more important, and judgment, where I need to use AI and where I have to write my own code. So as I said, maybe FANG companies can still afford it, right? They don't care about how many tokens you have used. But if you work in any other company, they will have limits. You can't keep unlimitedly using millions and millions of tokens and assume nobody is going to ask any question. So other kind of companies are already rationalizing that they don't want you to use unlimited tokens. So I think the best course of action is to use a combination. The tasks that are kind of not very well understood, there is a lot of ambiguity, and you don't know how to build a deterministic software. In that case, using a LLM is very much needed, because there is uncertainty, you don't know the exact answer, there is chances of errors. Then this is better done through a AI or an LLM kind of a thing, right? But if you know you will be building a deterministic solution, it can be done in like two loops or three loops and things like that. You're better off doing it as a own code rather than basically depending upon LLM. And second thing I will suggest is that uh, even if let's say you use a place where you are using an LLM to, let's say you write an optical character recognition software, right? And your job is to detect handwriting. Let's say I talk about a doctor's prescription, right? Many times doctors scribble, only like the chemists are able to read what the doctor has written, right? Let's say I feed this into a system. Now it has to read through the prescription and digitalize it, right? It has to really find out what was the prescription, what was the diagnosis given by the doctor. Now, this is a very hard problem actually. If it was computerized like a PDF file and all, then it is very easy to read from it and you can directly put it into a database. But if it is handwritten and the writing is like really bad, chances of getting error here are very, very high. So in this case, leveraging an LLM totally makes a sense, because as it is, it's very hard to really understand exactly what is being written here. So you have to be diligent where you have to use LLM and where you have to use your own coding. And second thing that I was wanting to say was, even if there is a case where you want to use LLM, it is better to ask LLM to generate the code, so that you still have the control over what code, like a like rather than just replacing it by an LLM, ask the LLM to generate a code to fix this problem, so that you have the ownership of that code and you can update it, iterate it, and things like that, to control the system that you are developing. So that's the thing, can only be done if you are an experienced engineer, you have seen the problems and things like that. Why am I able to give you these kind of insights? Because day in and day out I've seen, worked with systems and things like that, right? And even now I work with startups and things like that, where I encourage them to not throw everything at LLM. Try to build your things yourself, and only things where there's just tons of ambiguity and things like that, use LLM. So this way you minimize the use of your tokens, as well as you still have control over your system that you're writing. Next question is from Prashant Parashar. Can multi-step agentic software development wipe out the many people in IT industry? Yes, it is going to wipe out many people in IT industry. That's what we are been discussing. And as I said, the reasons are most of the IT people were doing QA testing or maintenance work or audit, compliance, those kind of things, and that easily any agentic system can basically replace. So I'm not going to say 100%, but even if it is replacing, like let's say 60, 70, 80%, so your team which was 10 people now will be only 2 people, right? That's almost a replacement, right? Even if it is not 100%. So when I say replacement, I'm not talking about 100% replacement. I'm talking about replacement of the order of 50 to 90%. But my timeline for that is 2030. More in 2026 will be more like 10, 20, 30% replacement, not at the levels of 50 to 90%. That is for more, further more years to come, because again we have to make sure the systems that we're running, we don't keep running into issues around like token utilization. Cost becomes very high, because I think countries like India, Philippines, and many of the other Asian countries where all this outsourcing happened, right? uh, the real reason for outsourcing was cost arbitrage. So even today, if you see, right, like a lot of these which companies still hire engineers at like what, 3 lakh, 4 lakh, 5 lakh a year, right? That's the cost. If you compare this with US, most of the entry level engineers in, let's say, even in IBM and Accenture in the US, they will still start at like 70K, maybe 60K, 80K, depending on which geography they are staying. But if I compare 60K with, let's say, 5 lakh rupees, I mean, it's a night and day, right? 60 lakh is pretty much $60, $60,000 is, given the rupee how it is falling, it's kind of 55 lakh, right? And then a company in India is hiring the same guy for 5 or 6 lakh, right? So it's almost like 10, 11 times the cost. So outsourcing still makes sense. So it so we need to now compare it with AI also. If your AI system cost is still higher than an engineer that you can hire in which company, then the question again arises: do you really want a AI system to do this job, or do you want an engineer? Same thing is happening in the BPO industry also, right? Like in BPO also, like when you hire these call center agents, etc., right? Their salary could be more like 20,000, 25,000, maybe 30,000 rupees, right? Now you replace it with a voice agent, which I am going to share the use case. Like a lot of companies are now using voice agents as well. But then the question again arises: per call voice agent, what is the charge? And as a human agent, you will just pay 20,000 or 30,000 rupees a month, right? That's like a fixed cost. Yes, they will have like holidays and this and that, but then you have to also quantify the cost of a voice agent. Like if you use an agentic AI voice agent, per call how much they are going to charge. So you have to always see that are you better off having giving us like 30,000 rupees, putting a human agent there, or can you put a like an AI voice agent who can do the same job, but on every call there will be charge. So before you close the month, is the voice agent going to cost almost similar to your human agent? Will it be lower than that, or it will surpass that? So that business question mark is always going to be there. So it's not as straightforward that immediately everything can be AI. These question marks around like tokenization, cost of using AI are also very big parameters. And because of this, right now in 2026, I don't see the replication of uh, automatic agents to wipe out the entire like human population. So what I see right now in 2026, because of the cost and the arbitrage model, uh, I think impact would be more around 10 to 20%. Some industries maybe 30%. Especially the BPO industry is the most heavily hit right now, because I've at least seen multiple number of times that the outbound calling is now completely shifted to completely agentic voice AI. So all your credit cards, and then you're calling about loans, um, those are completely now automated nowadays. So I myself have received so many automated calls, and the voice quality of the agent is so good, it is very difficult to understand if this person is actually an voice agent or is it an actual human being. Sometimes you get like confused. So after having a conversation for a couple of minutes, you can still detect because I am from the industry. But I think a lot of other people will hardly be able to make any difference. So at least in outbound calls, I have seen this happen quite a bit. In inbound calls, basically when you call the call center and then an agent responds back, there I'm not so sure that a voice agent is doing a great job. But even there also we are seeing voice agents, but I think they're much more successful in the outbound calls actually, because you have to just read from the script and basically try to convince the customer to take your credit card or get your loan and whatnot and things like that. Or even for real estate, I'm seeing a lot of these basically outbound marketing is completely now being used by voice automatic agents. So that's already a disruption. It is happening already right now. Earlier you used to have these outbound marketing call centers where each of these individuals used to do a call to several people, right? Now this is completely being replaced by, now I see already in the market, I can see 20 to 30% of the calls are now basically agentic calls, outbound calls in marketing, whether it is for loan, credit card, real estate, selling properties, and things like that. All those areas. So let me read more. Baba Ramdev, 1077. Sir, please is Salesforce learning of any use? I already spent a lot of amount in it. Feeling depressed now. What to do? I think Babaji, you also asked me this question in my previous podcast. Sorry, I'm not smiling. I'm just smiling because your name is as such. So that is why it is not against you, you feeling depressed or things like that. So please pardon me for my smile. And I guess I have a good smile. I have two dimples. So probably it is good to cheer you up as well. Sir, see, anything that you learn right now, as I said multiple times earlier as well, is going to be very, very short lived. So in next 1 or 2 years, maybe you will be able to leverage your skill set of Salesforce, because Salesforce is also one of the SaaS companies, and even SaaS is going down. So SaaS and consulting, again, I have made a podcast in that area as well. You can check it out. It's a deep dive on both the consulting and the SaaS industry basically going down. So I don't see a very long term career in that area as well. So any tool like SAP, SaaS, Microsoft Dynamics, HRMS consultant, any of those kind of like functional jobs are going to be completely eliminated actually. They don't stand a chance because going forward, people will just use some agenting systems and things like that, and slowly the demand for these jobs will basically dwindle completely. So I would say these are in their sunset years already at this point of time. So Kaushal Soneji, cloud generating code is actually not holding up with distributed systems and microservice architecture. You are right. So as I said, if you are building a basic CRUD application, a full stack application, basic and things like that, generally it does a fantastic job. But the moment you add a lot of complexity and a lot of interconnected services, etc., then it doesn't do a great job. And that is why you have to now then break down your job into small system components, feed it to Cloud to generate the code, and then hand integrate all those small code pieces together. That's how architects are using it today. Complex architectures and building it is still not doable. That is why I was saying, if you are really solid engineer, you know how to work with distributed systems, backend systems, and things like that. That skill is still required because currently agentic systems are not able to do it. But generic workflows, step by step workflows where predictable processes are you can use automation. Agentic workflows are able to do that pretty well. uh, uh, Kaushal Soneji, in banking and markets where most transactions pass through at least 8 or 9 modules before being settled, it is difficult for A to perform the job of a software engineer. See, it depends upon the workflow. If the workflow is well understood and it is well documented, then I think even in banking, a lot of agentic workflows are being used. So compliance, audit, because they are step by step processes. There you There you have to basically just uh, go step by step, and it is well documented process. So think of it this way, right? So all large companies, when they do their filings, right, quarterly reports, etc., it has it has to be audited, and there are some compliance requirements. So traditionally they would employ Deloitte, KPMG, PwC, and things along those lines, right? So that audit and compliance work can now be done by agentic AI, like very very straightforward. That all they do there is they have check boxes actually. So, oh, did you do SOC compliance? Okay, great, checkbox. Did you have privacy compliance, DSSPI data compliance checkbox? So basically, all they have to do is just check whether they have basically done these things. So whenever you can give a list of step by step, like what needs to be done, that can be completely automated. Similarly, in loan dispersal, claims management, ledger handling, all those things are being done through agentic. So even in banking sector, lot of workflow. In fact, banking, insurance, retail, finance are the largest industries that are using basically agentic systems. So your JP Morgan bank, in fact Bank of America, Wells Fargo, all of them are heavily investing in agentic workflows to basically uh, automate their workflows. So they are using it pretty heavily actually. uh, then you have Sada showed 6735. AI is a domain first approach, meaning specialists who understand accounting, finance, budgeting, supply chain, manufacturing, banking, insurance, drug discovery, pharmaceuticals will drive everything. That's right. So, a person who really understands a domain well and also knows how to prompt and leverage AI will be like real differentiators here. Because, as I said, basic coding and all is no longer a moat. Like AI is going to use it right away. But then, if a domain by itself is very systematic, like accounting or budgeting, uh, those themselves can get completely automated. Because at least in software, at least in the creative part of the software, it is very innovative. But then there is a other part of the software which is more like maintenance, testing, basic CRUD applications, and things like that. That's very repetitive. That can be automated completely. Similarly, your accounting and CA practice and compliance and regulatory, these are very repetitive and they are like very step by step processes. Even in legal, actually, most of the compliance work goes under legal as well, right? So even those will be replicated. So you don't need that much of a domain knowledge there, because it is step by step process that has to be followed. That's all. So most of it is just data gathering, data storage, data processing, and move on to the next step. That can be easily taken over by AI. So even in supply chain, many parts are like very step by step. So even that can be taken over. Warehouse, supply chain, right? So all those areas that are very repetitive in nature, which are well documented and well understood, they can be automated through agentic workflows, like very very easily. Kaushal Soneji, expect site reliability roles to increase in the future. Yes, so site reliability, then high availability systems, uh, validation, then architecture, enterprise architects, those will be of very very high demand, because you need very broad set of skills there. Because many of these systems, when you rely and depend upon these automation agents, there are chances that they are going to do goof ups. So there has to be somebody to burn the midnight oil to fix it. Even though nowadays, even for triaging, whenever an incident is reported, etc., they are using agents to even help you define the bugs, find the root cause analysis, etc. But they are more like assistants. They are not the ones making the decision, because when the shit hits the fan, you need an like a human being's neck to be choked. You can't put it on like an agent. Go, I just assign it to an agent and let the agent figure it out and solve it by itself, and then answer to the customer as well. So whenever basically an incident happens, You need a warm body who can go, even though they may use a lot of the tools, but somebody has to be accountable, which is a human being. So by no means an AI agent or a system will take accountability. So accountability always lies with the individual, which is a human being. So your judgment, your decision making are even more important when you use these kind of systems. There are many times there are questions around ethics as well, biases, all those things will play out, right? So you can't say, oh, the AI system did it, what can I do? Because somebody has to be responsible. So it is a responsibility of the authority to pick and choose whether for this thing should I use AI or should I have a oversee like like a human in the loop process. So when I talk about these automations, right, these are not like 100% fully automated systems. They always have a scope of like man in the loop or some kind of audit will happen of these systems from time to time. So it depends upon how they want to like implement a process, but human in the loop is always there. uh, then Sada Sode, right now CS and IT students are more excited about AI. It will change soon where students of other domains will find more opportunities. Power of competition is shifting away from CS and IT domain. I don't think so. Other domains will have more opportunities. It's just that the opportunities within the IT application and software development part of that area is going to go down, which doesn't mean that the other domains like electrical, electronics, and civil and mechanical will shoot up because uh, even in the past, and I think I have mentioned this thing earlier as well, that in an engineering college, it was the IT companies which used to basically hire the most people, that even the people from textile and civil and mechanical and whatnot used to jump into IT as well. So if the IT companies themselves are going down and jobs are going down, even the traditional core branches like mechanical, civil, electrical, etc., they will also have a very bad time because IT going down will not automatically bring other categories up. So let there not be any mistake. So even though I'm focusing on the CS and the IT jobs, but everybody is going to get impacted because if you see, I talked about consulting, I talked about law, I talked about audit, compliance, CA, legal, all these are getting impacted, and these are not even IT, right? These are other domains outside of IT. So legal companies, compliance companies, audit companies, all of them are getting impacted because their job is being eaten up by agents and AI. Then Sada Sode, Salesforce is a good skill set as of now, at least in US. Yeah, as of now, I'm saying, I said like give it another 1 or 2 years. You yourself will realize whether it is short lived or long lived. So so for now it is okay, but as I said, it's not an area where you can now build a career. If you have been working in this for last 10 years and all, there's nothing much you can do. So sure, you can continue doing that, but I'm just letting you know, you only have 1 or 2 years in that area. It is going to get completely dead. It is in the sunset mode. You should see the CRM, stock, like Salesforce is known as CRM in the stock market. Check out how big a fall they have seen, and pretty much it is not only Salesforce. All your SaaS companies have seen a very big beating actually across the sector. Then you have Jazz, full stack Java dev here. I wanted to move to Agentic AI. Which course do you suggest? I don't suggest a specific course. I would just say you can go to any of these hyperscaler websites, right? AWS, GCP, Azure, whichever you like. All of them have tremendous literature on how to use agentic AI, how to build agents on their like websites, on their like clouds and things like that. Just pick any which you like, go from there, and you'll be able to pick it up very quickly. So if you are already a good software engineer, it should not be very hard for you to pick it up. It's very pretty straightforward. You just have to call a few APIs and you're done, basically. Then Sridhar Reddy, how are agriculture land prices in North India? Feel AI will be tailwind for scarce assets. So you are right. Actually, I think it's a very good point. I think the agricultural land is already becoming very very expensive, especially if they are around like metro cities. Like let me talk about like Delhi and things like that, because a lot of development is taking place, right? Like for instance, there is this Jewar airport in Greater Noida, like beyond Greater Noida. Like Jewar is like a place. It is, I think, midway between Noida and Agra, I guess. It's from Delhi. I think it is like 75 or some 80 kilometers from Delhi, right? So Jewar Airport by itself, uh, so all the land around it became super expensive and things like that. So I think for short to medium term horizon, more like blue collar jobs, more like physical assets will start attracting a lot of people, because the service industry is going to get impacted. Knowledge economy is going to get impacted very, very heavily. So people will start flocking towards like more kind of blue collar, like becoming an electrician or a plumber, or start doing some, let's say, mom and pop shop, or like food cart or things like that, where they will find solace. But again, this is not going to be permanent. This is only going to help you out from maybe short to a medium term. So when I say short term, it is more like 1 to 2 years. Medium term, maybe say another 5 years or so. But the normal trend is that across the board, whether you are, so if you are in knowledge economy, you get impacted immediately in the short term itself. Some of the things will remain, let's say, active for another 1 or 2 years, but already you'll start seeing a decline happening there. But if you are in more like blue collar physical labor jobs, etc., there is still some time, because robotics is a little bit more harder than basically knowledge economy or service sector. However, having said that, within that also some sectors such as robotics within the logistics industry. So in the US, you already have self-driving cars, robo taxis already flying in, let's say, San Francisco, Austin, Pittsburgh. I have seen these already flying, and so they replace drivers, right? And then drone-based delivery has also started by both Walmart and Amazon in select pin codes. It's not across the US, but I can see the trend that it is going to only ramp up from there. That can also happen in India market as well. Though I believe in India it will take some time, at least on the um, autonomous taxi in India will be very difficult, given how our road conditions are and how beautifully our people drive in India. They will have a very tough time for an autonomous vehicle to drive safely in India. But I don't believe that will be a hurdle for a drone. So the delivery, if it drone picks up the delivery, which will use aerial ways to do it, I think they will have much more success there than in probably a autonomous driving. So even though I'm saying that the physical or the blue collar jobs will take some time before it hits them, maybe it will start hitting them from more like a midterm, which is like maybe in next 5 years or so, they'll start feeling the impact. But then they will feel the impact because a lot of these knowledge workers will no longer have a job, or their salaries would have got depressed so heavily that they'll not be able to employ these physical labor people. So even though physical labor by itself is not being replaced by robotics in the short term, but even their salaries will deplete, because the people who they were serving no longer have a job. So you see, this is a kind of a vicious cycle actually. So in that sense, even these physical labor jobs will get impacted. But in next 5 years or so, like 5 to 10 years time, even the physical labor will get start getting compressed, because robotics would have entered the field very massively by that point of time. It's already happening at the industrial level. Like if you go to any warehouse, let's say Flipkart warehouse or Amazon warehouse, they use like a lot of robots which can pick like a article, place it into a bin, package it. So all those systems, they are already using robotics to do it. Back in the day, they used to be done physically by human beings actually. So all the things are already happening. If you go to any like car manufacturing factory, let's say Tata, Mahindra, etc., you would see most of it is completely robotic. Like workers are there, but they don't do bulk of the work actually. Bulk of the assembly of the car, manufacturing, etc., happens through a robotic arm actually. So those examples are already there. It is just going to take some time before this robotics also starts becoming so cheap that even small and medium businesses, etc., are also able to deploy robots for automating their tasks and things along those lines. Uh, so Vikas Sunnikannan, since big organizations are sensitive about privacy, security, they follow multiple processes, sometimes iterative and unnecessary. Still, in the short term, to replace the entire system is not easy. Yes, in the short run, it is not very easy to replace those systems. But as I said, actually, it's the banking industry which has all this PIA data and a lot of SOX compliance and whatnot. They are the ones leading the race actually. So you can read about a lot of public like studies that JP Morgan and Bank of America and other such banks have done by using agentic workflow automations and things like that, because at the end of the day it basically saves cost for them actually. So they will basically do everything in their right to minimize the cost so that they can increase the shareholder value. Sridhar Reddy, is it safe buying agricultural land in North? Sir, I mean, I am not the best expert in that space. Um, I would just say, like, if you know agriculture, if you know some people wherever you are trying to buy the land, then go for it. But generally, I've seen if you leave the land by itself and they know you are not from here, then chances of somebody acquiring your land and just taking it away is very, very high. You know, right? In India, there is no legal system, and moral compass of people is pretty much not there. So anyone who has power and they see an empty land, they'll basically go and grab it. Um, I suspect this is true in the South India as well, but at least in North India, that is true for sure. Vikas Kannan, most people live in flats. How can drone delivery work? It works well when deliveries are sent to the backyards. So you're right. I mean, but I think drone deliveries can work in the flats also, right? In flats are like vertically there, each and every tower. It is well demarcated, which is the uh, you know uh, kind of first floor, second floor, third floor, etc. So maybe they may not directly put it in the balcony, but they can at least deliver it to the security guard who is sitting in the ground floor for each tower, and then probably the security guard is the one who does the final delivery. Maybe they'll figure out like a policy that the actual doorstep delivery is done by the security guard of that apartment and not directly by the drone. Drone only brings it to the specific tower, and actual delivery is done basis on the delivery guard. Or like the tower in which I live, we have like balconies in every room. Like I have five balconies actually, and it's open from all the four sides. At least in my tower, I understand that many towers are not like that. They're like all clustered, like connected together, and it may be harder, or many of them may not even have a balcony in the first place. So I think companies will figure out certain ways. I mean, people are clever, right? They always find a way. But great point. I think you did raise a good point there. Sridhar Reddy, do you think ServiceNow, Constellation Software, Adobe can be replaced of its market overreaction? Yeah, I think there is some bit of market overreaction, no doubt about it. Again, as I even said in my previous podcast as well, that many of the SaaS company stocks are down, consulting stocks are also down. So, in the short run, these companies will still kind of work, but long term outlook for them is very poor, meaning that they will see their revenues and profit margins decline slowly. There is no upside for them. So that's where the problem is. So in one sense, it is true that these product companies which are building SaaS software, enterprises software, and the consulting companies, they are slowly going to become much smaller self of what they used to be. their margins and profits and revenues will get impacted, but it will not be immediate. It is going to happen kind of slowly, but that the downward trend has already started almost a year back. Actually, it's not even this year. It already started 1 year ago itself. If you just go with the stock prices of these companies. uh, Vikas Sunnikanan, people have window grills for security, not like Western countries with glass windows. Yeah, you are right. As I said, I mean, I don't have those kind of things. Like I have open kind of balcony. If you want, I can show you. Actually, that's my. You see, it's outside my bedroom. You can see probably outside. All of you can see. So every bedroom that I have has a balcony there, and it's open, and my building is like four side open actually. So at least in my case, they can directly send a drone and deliver it there. I'm not saying that's exactly how it will happen, but as I said, they can deliver to the security guard in the downstairs and probably pay him some additional money to deliver to the exact unit actually in the building. So companies will figure out certain things. So I'll give you an example. Right back in the day when Flipkart started back in 2007, etc., people had a very low appetite of like ordering online and expecting the delivery will come back to their home. So in those days, to kind of build the behavior of ordering online, they came out with the innovation of COD, right, cash on delivery. And believe you me that in the US there is no concept of cash of delivery. It's always through credit card, or that's the kind of standard approach, right? But in India, because they had to induce a certain kind of behavior, they came out with the concept of cash on delivery, wherein you can order and you can get a product, and only then you basically pay the money. So now the cash on delivery is going down, but still cash on delivery is the major kind of component of e-commerce even today. More than 50 to 60% transactions are still cash on delivery in India due to the trust issues and things like that. So Indians know how to innovate. So business innovation in India is very, very high, right? It may not be a technologically a very big thing, but from a convenience and ease of use, it is a great thing, right? If they did not attract these customers to shop online, then they wouldn't have been showing that many number of like crores and crores of thousands of crores of revenue that they have today. It's only possible because they induced a habit to buy online, even if it meant that they had to get the money later on. But then they incentivize you to shift to like prepaid delivery, which is like pay through credit card or net banking or wallet or whatever, so that you can get some kind of discounts and things like that. So back in the day when they started, almost 90% of the transactions were cash on delivery. At least now it has declined to like 60%, which is still very high because in the US all transactions are like prepaid. There is no transaction which is cash on delivery. So those kind of business innovations, I think entrepreneurs here in India are very clever. They'll keep coming out with those. So Sadasode terraces will have drop zone already, that is processed for high rises. Yes, exactly. That's what I was trying to say. They can drop it at, let's say, agent or drop zone, as you were pointing out, and people can pick it up from there. Vikas Sunnikanan, do you think there could be a public backlash if advancements in tech leads to mass layoffs? I can imagine people being at peace in case of mass employment, which people will be protested against. Exactly. So this was exactly my sole point where I talked about in my previous podcast. So I'll encourage you to check it out as well. That the way things are moving actually, where you are going towards a mass unrest, I mean mass unemployment of knowledge workers, and in turn it will impact the like the maids and the delivery boys, because if I don't have money to spend on Swiggy and Zomato and Zepto and Blinkit, then basically the delivery boy no longer has a customer to serve. And if I don't have a job, then I can't pay rents of high rise buildings and things like that. And of course I would not be able to afford to keep a full time maid and things like that, right? So if more people like me start losing job, who were the ones paying for these quick commerce and e-commerce, and using all these Uber and Olas, and like hiring all the housemaids and cooks and drivers and whatnot. Now you see the impact, right? If one person goes, then if one person like me goes out, then already a driver loses their job, a full-time maid loses their job, two cooks lose their job. Of course, Zomato loses a customer, Swiggy loses a customer, and things along those lines, right? So you can see the trickle down impact. So this is a reality that is going to happen within our lifetime, and I'm talking about within next 1 to 2 years, we'll start seeing that happen much more often, right? Already we have seen the real estate sales have gone down from last year onwards. In 2025 year closing, already 10 to 15% decline in number of sales have already happened because of these uncertainties and job losses in the IT sector. So this is only going to ramp up higher. So I proposed governments have to start thinking about universal basic income to avoid the kind of unrest. Otherwise this will get very very difficult actually. So you are right. I mean, if we don't have things like universal basic income, there will be revolutions, and even the elites will not be safe, because if majority of the population doesn't know what to do, it will result in uprising actually. Vikas Kannan, next question. I say this because the universal income plus some form of entertainment would work when people are not educated. With many white collar jobs being replaced, they need some intellectual work to sustain. That's a very good point, actually. But the problem is, right, at least the people who are not intellectuals or who are at a low cognitive levels, right? For them, you give them some money, some booze, liquor, some food, some entertainment, and they are taken care of. But the problem with cognitive people is that some of these cognitive people will actually do higher pursuits. So some will become, let's say, go for like self actualization, where they think about some creative pursuits and start doing it, because now creating will be easy, right? So AI will be available to everyone. It is up to us to how we want to leverage it and use it. So some of the creative people will be able to come out with some creative new ideas, and maybe start companies of tomorrow, or build some new avenues, which maybe I also don't have idea right now, and many others don't. So some people will be able to do that. Some people will be able to focus on more like health and wellness and things like that. They'll transition there. And then some people, who still are unhappy and they want to do it. I'm not saying 100% of the people will not have job. Some will have job, right? So some who are really passionate and really good, etc., will find jobs in different companies. Because as I said, it is not going to, even in 2030, I don't see 100% replacement by these companies, but more like 50 to 90%, right? So some people will still be kind of employed. So that's how I see, these people will be there. Mm. So basically, let me just feed him. I think he's uh, getting a little bit restless. I'll just feed him. Yeah. Okay, now he's good. So, Sridhar Reddy, Nifty 50 compared to SP 500 growth is poor, but India apparently grew at 6 to 7%, whereas we grow 2 to 3%. Where is the growth going? See, our government is very clever in manipulating the facts. Actually, uh, according to them, inflation is only 3-4%, right? But if you see anything, I even built a podcast since COVID. Like inflation has skyrocketed in India, like rest of the world, right? It's not that only in India this has happened, but our government claims it is like 3-4%, not much. Just rent inflation, the food inflation itself is so high. Forget about anything else. It's in at least in double digits. So you are right. I mean, stock markets in India have not performed very well, and the reason for that is multifold. I think it will be a little bit difficult to answer in this podcast itself. But think of it this way, right? The rupee value has like declined 10% in the last 1 year itself, as compared to the dollar, right? So a lot of the investments from FIIs and a lot of DIAs who were coming to like invest in India have moved out their funds from India because India is no longer a really growth market which was giving very good returns because the rupee consistently falls, and as a result, after 1 year, when they take out their money back, they find themselves to be in the negative or almost at the zero. So basically, they have zero or negative returns. So why would anybody put their dollar? And I made a podcast also on this thing. You can check it out about how rupee continues to keep falling. And by 2026, and I'm thinking it may actually touch 100 also. Like a dollar becomes 100 rupees. There is a high likelihood that it can happen. So yeah, I mean, growth. I mean, it's kind of mixed bag, I would say. Um, Stock market has not performed very well for the last 2 to 3 years. So I think there was a growth just after COVID, maybe 2021, 2022, maybe there was growth. But by the time we came to 2023, already growth was tanking actually. So if you see that, and that's how it has been. So it's not growth because there is a lot of uncertainty in the Indian market. You can say US stock market is showing tremendous growth, but I still think that there are bad days to come in the US market also. For now, it is seeming to be very good growth because I think even if you remove the top 10 stocks in S&P 100, not remainder like 490 companies are not doing very well actually. All the growth is coming from the top 10 stocks, like which Magnificent Seven is the like your all usual suspects like Tesla, Nvidia, Apple, Microsoft, Amazon, Google, and Meta, right? So that's where the entire growth is happening because if you see, they're making huge amount of investments in AI at the moment. So AI is what is pushing the markets up. The moment they see that either AI is too expensive or you're not getting the ROI, etc., again the stocks will taper down actually. So your Nancy, sir, I want to ask something. Please go ahead. And also, people suggest me what to do, please. Like I am doing BCom and I am in 1 year. I gave a CA foundation, but was not able to clear it, and I am doing my graduation from my hometown T3 CLG. Please suggest me, sir. Suggest me something. I am 20 years old. So Nancy, see, there are multiple things. I'll encourage you to go and check out my podcast because I did showcase like there are multiple areas where you can probably work. Um, See, it will be disingenuous for me to tell you something other than what is true. I mean, I will not say keep working hard, something good will happen. Probably, we are in a very transformative stage at this point of time. But I would say, at least in the short run, if you pick up certain AI tools like Claude or Chat GPT, that guy, AI Fiesta, right? That Dhruv Rathi guy started a company. Even if you take that kind of thing, which is I think cheap, I guess it's like only like a few $100, or you can just try Chat GPT, right? Chat GPT is free in India for 1 year, I think. Chat GPT Go, I guess. At least get your hands dirty with that. uh, you can start doing some kind of like basic like data entry or even accounting, etc., through use of AI, and that would actually help you get an article chip or something like that, so that at least in the short term you will have something, and once you enter into something, maybe you will be able to figure out. But I would just encourage you to pick up these free tools so that you get hands dirty with that, and even if you do not graduate with a CA, it's okay. Anyway, in future there will not be many CA jobs. I'm not saying this because you were not able to do the foundation, but I genuinely believe that's the case. That this is going to fully be automated. Only the CAs who do tax manipulation and CAs who do, mostly the financial strategy of a company, that CA role will retain. But a CA audit or balance sheets, etc., that is going to get automated completely. You wouldn't need a CA for doing that. So I hope, Nancy, maybe I couldn't give a better answer, but probably this helps you. Do check some of my podcasts where I talk about young graduates what they can actually pursue. Vikas Sunnikannan, Have you seen any trends of decreasing public spending, like tourism, shopping, etc.? Maybe jobs have not gone at scale, but curious to know if there are any patterns that have started emerging. Yes, so I think one clear pattern is real estate sales. So just in end of 2025, as I mentioned, there is a 10 to 15% decline across markets in India where the real estate sales have dropped. But on the same hand, the value, the rupee value of those sales has increased because they're still somehow keeping the prices of the flats like very high. So that's a kind of a problem that uh, we have seen. So that is something you can see. Then I actually checked out like automobile sales. So automobile sales are also down since last year. You would see many of the cars now have a lot of offers and coupons along with them, which never used to be the case. In fact, when I bought so I bought Toyota Rumion last year, right? And I was very surprised that I only got it for like around 13 lakh rupees actually, whereas I think the ticker price was more around 15 lakh or something. So I never imagined that a company such as Toyota can basically give you that heavier discount. So that was like a good thing, and it happened because again the same thing, right? It happened because technically you can see that probably the prices are basically going down, right? And that's the technical reason for that. So those are some of the sectors where I have seen. And in general, like I have also seen, like if you check out engineering colleges and all, the basically the engineering colleges and all, the enrollment in engineering colleges have actually gone down significantly actually. So that's another trend that I can see, which is basically playing out, and it tells me that overall there is stress across industries. So automobile sales are down, flat sales are down, real estate, inflation is high overall, and then all food prices and everything of those are basically of concern. They are basically creating a lot of issues for people, right? So those are some of the things that are going down. So young Nancy, Vikas, Shields, other fire at Gore Green and now in Vivek, where what is happening? Yeah, these are like, I mean, right? In India, we don't follow any kind of rules, and even if you call these ambulance or fire brigade, etc., they hardly actually are well equipped, and basically they don't basically follow anything actually, right? So no matter where you are, like you'll always see problems. So I mean, I live in Indrapuram, right? I said, and like the Gore Green is actually not very far away from where I live. In our society, also they started conducting like fire drills and whatnot. So in India, these are all like mockery. Like they just do it when something happens, and after like 1 week, they'll forget about it. So on the ground, actually, there will be no systematic changes or any of those kind of things that are kind of required. So that's the problem which I see that continues to have. Amit Shukla ji, thank you very much. I think you have added 179 rupees, so appreciate that. Though that's not my, motto to make this as a revenue channel for myself. I'm more about like sharing my knowledge and interacting with people. That's my main interest here. But nonetheless, thank you very much, Amit Shukla ji. Um, then uh, Vikas Kannan is, I think, responding to Nancy. So I read somewhere that AI plus any use case which gives you real time value is something which will not be easy to replicate for AI companies. So maybe if you want to do something of your own. Yeah, I think that's a good suggestion. Only thing is, given that he's at an entry level and more kind of a fresher, maybe a little bit difficult for him to do that. So I think your point is pretty valid. First step is to gain some skills. Yeah, I think completely in line with you there, Vikas. Krish Modi Wadia, Namaste. Hope you are doing well. Yes, sir, I'm doing well. Your Nancy, I'm doing excellent Tally Prime. Sure, I think whatever skills you can get, I mean, again, tally and all those things won't cut it actually in the future. As I said, all this tax compliance and all those things will be very easily automated actually. Excel is still, I would say, good, but yeah, I mean, at least you learn some, pivot tables and things like that. It can be of some use in the short term, if not more. Uh, Santosh, I have worked in both India and the US, but I feel that the work culture in India is toxic. Additionally, the interview process is tougher compared to how it is in the US. Your opinion? Cent% with you, sir. The only difference is, I would say, since I always worked for US MNCs, even when I was in India, like I worked at like Hughes, I worked for Oracle, Yahoo, Amazon, and those kind of companies, right? So for me, generally, work culture was, except for Amazon, work culture was good, I would say, because these were all US companies. So we didn't have that kind of 9 to 5 or slogging culture. Like if manager goes, only then you can leave the office and things like that. But I can completely agree with you that many of the Indian companies, even the startups, have a very poor work culture here, where politics and in fact, I think I use a word Amazon. Even the startups here in India have all Amazon, and now every other company is Amazon. At least a decade ago, Meta, Google used to be good companies to work for because they used to take care of their employees. I mean, I remember once I went for an interview for Meta in London, so they booked my like business class international flight to go to London. So I was very surprised that a company can give you like a business class flight, that to international. And I stayed in like I think the Soho, I think the main district, where we had like that ISKCON temple is also there in London. So I used to go there because I'm a vegetarian, to go and have my meal there for the vegetarian food. I remember that. So I went with my family. Of course, they only paid for me, but I took my family as well because I thought it would be good, like 3 4 day trips for us. So I think now every other company has been Amazon, even in the US. Culture is extremely like bad, cutthroat. But you're right. If I go back just 5 years, then work culture in the US is definitely much better than India. But then if you compare with, because I've also lived in Asian countries like Japan, so Japan, Korea, or China, if you compare with them, then you will find India is like heaven, because there it is 996 in these countries, Asian countries. There they have to worship their manager, and you can't openly like talk and all. India is somewhere in between, I would say. Like it's not as good as the US, and it's not as bad as the Asian countries. Um, so. Uh, Um, so I think Nancy is saying, like my friend doing Akka from London, can I talk to you on Instagram because I need guidance from someone like you, as my parents and family members are not that educated. Sure, I mean you can. Sorry, I don't use Instagram actually. I'm not very active there, but you can definitely drop a mail on Real Talks AG at Gmail. I think if you respond, then I can probably reply back. But I do encourage you to go and check out the podcasts that are already listed out there. So this will build your skills also, because I myself don't remember the names of those podcasts, because I have close to now, I don't know, 500 plus of them. So it's very hard for me to remember. But because this topic has come so often, I know for sure that I have covered it n number of times. So you should find that information there. But I was wanting to, just before I wrap up this presentation, is that voice agents have become active already. I receive so many calls from voice agents, which means your business process outsourcing industry is up for ripe for disruption, and to some extent it is already being disrupted in 2026. Lot of companies which are setting up uh, you know the business process outsourcing, back office operations. When they have to do outbound when they have to do outbound calling, marketing, etc., they are now leveraging voice agents. So that has become very common. So that's one area. Coding we discussed in enough detail that lot of run of the mill jobs, testing jobs, basic code fixing and bug fixing, etc., now can be done through using AI tools much better. Of course, it is already increasing the productivity, it goes without saying. And then complex applications, system architectures, etc., still you need very hands on, really senior people to help out with that. But nonetheless, overall, the improvement has actually already happened. So that part is there. Then on the if you see areas such as marketing and creative services, um, basically AI has completely replaced a lot of these things actually. So copywriting, graphics designing, animation, video, lot of that is now happening through AI. So you would see this like audio, video generation, uh, even in films and movies they're using like VFX. They're using now AI for doing that. And outsourcing, as I talked about earlier, like countries such as India, Philippines, Vietnam, Pakistan, they are going to hit very, very, very heavily because of using these agentic, both voice agents as well as email, email or text agents. They are replacing a lot of these outsourcing jobs because again, you have a lot of repetitive work out there, and they can be easily done by agentic AI. So I think in 2026, AI has already started infiltrating like coding jobs, eating software developers' roles. It has infiltrated BPO, taking up like customer support agents roles, infiltrated creative and marketing agencies, taking up marketers and creative editors roles. And as we move forward, we'll see this trend only go higher and higher from here. So, and this is happening in 2026. I'm not talking about 2030, next year, some 10 years down the line. This is happening as we speak now. So, this should open up your eyes that now AI is not a distant dream. It is happening right here now. Some of the market indicators, as I talked about, is automobile sales are down, real estate sales are down, inflation is very high. There is a standard distress in the market because even the savings are down across India. A lot of people are using a lot of credit, which never used to be the case. In fact, India's saving is all-time low across like last 50 years or so. So India used to be known as a in 2008 when there was a global financial meltdown. India was kind of unhinged at that point of time, and the reason for that was India one was not very much well integrated in the Western economy. One, second, we still did not use a lot of credit at that point of time. People used to save a lot. This time around in 2026, that figure has completely changed. Savings are very, very low. Our debt is very, very high, like personal debt, like people are taking up loans and things like that. So all these indicators are showcasing that we are in a very brittle position at this point of time as an overall economy, if you see. So those are things that are concerning. And one thing I can definitely say that I feel lucky that at least I have put some decades of earning, wherein I got a chance to operate out of US and in India as well. So from some aspect, I have been taken care of. I only came here thinking that I'll be fired in India. So, but I think for people who are starting out or who are mid-career and all, for them I think it could be a really tough time because a lot of options, lot of things which were told by us, told by our parents to us, that work hard, study hard, get a good job, marry, have kids, and you will be all set, is no longer going to hold true from now onwards, actually. So, no matter how hard you studied, no matter how hard working you are, because the game is completely getting changed. The And that is why I made another podcast also where I talked about the middle class squeeze is happening. It's unfortunate, but that's happening in front of our eyes, and AI is only accelerating that actually. So that's where we are going. Vivek Sunni Krishnan Kannan, sorry. I think good work culture in Western is a part of education and generally accepted behavior. Also, since it is not the case in India, work exploitation is allowed. That's why we have more jobs. Yeah, very, very good point. I completely agree with you. And I would also say, at least for people who are unorganized, work ethic is very, very poor. I have also covered this. Like you try to get your homemade or work with your maids that come for cooking, cleaning and all. Even if you tell them 10 times, they'll still not follow the process. They'll come at their own sweet time. They will do lot of mistakes, even if they have been working with you for, let's say, months or even years. So that's something I have seen across the board. Maybe some people have better maids and all, or I am getting the bottom of the barrel kind of a staff. But all the people that I talk to and all, everyone says the same thing. But in companies, we as middle class, when we work, we can't slack like that, because we'll get fired in the company, or your manager will breathe down your neck if you start slacking or take unplanned holidays, or if you don't deliver work, or if you start creating a lot of bugs in your work, you'll be basically fired. That's not the case with the people that work for us actually. That's a problem. uh, नैन्सी, क्या मुझे कोडिंग करनी चाहिए जावा एंड पाइथन HTML? You have good communication, speech clarity. Thank you, sir. Sure, you can basically try out coding and all, but I think given like how things are at entry level, like even people who are actually software engineers are having tough time getting a job. I think you'll have a harder time picking up a coding job given that you are from BCom background. So maybe Python might be good for you because you can still do data analysis and things along those lines. I think that will be much better for you. Vikas, so Vikas Sunnikannan, the only negative about AI is that revenue has not matched the spend, still way behind. So either tokens will get expensive, so the adoption does not increase. It cannot be justified. Yeah, this is a very very valid point, and that's why I in the initially, if you see, if you were joining my podcast an hour back, you would have seen I talked about that lot of issues now are coming with respect to token maximization. So people who are like very extensive programmers and all are consuming tons of tokens that companies have now to ration the number of tokens, and the cost has become unbearable. So my suspicion is in the next maybe a year or two, either we would have found a kind of a monetization strategy whereby companies become profitable. Okay, if that doesn't happen, then I see a lot of M&A activity happening. So people will continue to invest in like AI, right? Like all your hyperscalers and all, they can fund this for at least couple of more years, if not lower, because they have areas to make money from advertising, search, retail, whatnot, right? So your AWS, Oracle, Google, Microsoft will be okay, but it may not be okay for OpenAI and Anthropic if they don't turn into a profit and keep raising more funding going forward. So I think in the next 1 or 2 years, either they'll go public, which I think OpenAI was planning for an IPO in 2026 itself, or they'll rapidly increase their revenue by some advertising or their browsers. Or Anthropic has been doing exceptionally well. They have quadrupled their revenue in the last 1 year or so. So possibly OpenAI will do the same thing as well, I think. But you're right. Like right now, ROI is not there. Like the spending is too heavy in billions of dollars, whereas losses are also in billions of dollars. So it doesn't justify the spend. So chickens will come to roost surely, but I think there's still a lot of craze and a lot of investment happening in AI. So that's that. Sheel Sadak, hi sir, what's your real full name? Arpit Gupta. So, uh, Nancy, या दैट्स व्हाई आई एम आस्किंग, लाइक एक फ्रेंड मेरा बीटेक किया है और उसको भी बहुत डिफ़िकल्टी हो रही है जॉब मिलने में। क्या मुझे इस टाइम में इंटर्नशिप करनी चाहिए या फिर प्रिपरेशन? या यू कैन ट्राई डूइंग एन इंटर्नशिप. See, I'm not speaking in Hindi because this podcast is supposed to be in English, and generally, once I mark it as English, then YouTube does auto dubbing. So if I mix Hindi and English both in the same podcast, sometimes it will get it incorrect. That's why I'm not speaking in Hindi. So yeah, do you can do preparation in parallel, and if you can get an internship, it is good to get it, because I think it's better to know how industry works, how, like, if you can get an articleship under some kind of a CA or a CA firm and all, I think it will be really helpful for your career as well. फिर अभिरूप सेन गुप्ता, what tech jobs would be still be safe from this onslaught? I don't think 100% robotics coding and automation will be there in big legacy sectors like banking, insurance, telecom, health, defense. So you should check out another of my podcasts where I talked about some sectors and domains where you would still have jobs and lot of work will be done. So do check out that podcast. But then all the sectors that you have mentioned, see, point is not that 100% will be replaced. Point is this: our population is so huge that even if 10% get replaced, it is going to be a big problem for us, because if you just check out the numbers, right? So India graduates close to 3 million odd engineers every year. Okay. And up until like 2 years ago, industry used to absorb maybe, like, say half of them. Technically, like one third of them, like let's say 1 million. 10 lakh jobs used to be there, people used to get absorbed, right? 20 lakh were still struggling. This has completely changed in the last 2 years. So now the number of people graduating is still 2.53 million, I mean to say, right? So 25, 30 lakhs kind of people. But jobs has completely evaporated at the entry level. So basically, there is zero jobs existing. Like, even if, let's say, now rather than 1 million, if they only hire, let's say, 10 lakh, like 1 lakh jobs, that is going to be bloodbath, right? Then where will the rest of the people go? That's the situation we are in right now. And automation is happening across the sector. So banking, insurance, healthcare, telecom, all these sectors. You should check out some of my podcasts where I have given specific examples, right? So, like, we go for PET scan, CT, and all, MRI, right? Whenever you get a report, you'll see all those reports, especially the imaging reports that are created. They're already using AI actually to generate those reports. So the radiologist just signs that report, just does a cursory overview. The report is automatically generated by AI itself after the imaging, and this has been happening for more than 5 years now. It's not even like just happening now. So even in healthcare field, legal field, telecom field, all these fields are subject to disruption actually. So even if they are able to disrupt 25%, 30%, 50%, there will be tremendous job loss actually. Suraj Pai, what about DevOps? How do you see it? What impact will AI have on it? I see it as more judgment skill. Of course, lower level could be automated. Yeah, I think one of the persons also mentioned about site reliability engineering as well, right? So even in DevOps and site reliability engineering as well, I would say that lot of automation will happen in this area as well. Maybe people who are like top of the line, like principal engineers or distinguished architects, etc., in SRE and DevOps, will still find opportunity. But lot of, like, you have playbooks and things like that, right, where you use them to do certain steps, that can be easily automated, right? Like, if you also have to follow a playbook, why can't a agent follow a playbook, right? So that's where the, I think, the core is. So I don't see even DevOps or SRE being very big thing. You will There will be need for it, but again, much of that need will be satisfied by agents as well. Vikas Kannan, would like to get in touch with you to run some ideas. I come from an AI background. Absolutely, because my email I shared earlier, you can reach out there. Happy to bounce off certain ideas as well. I mean, I am a PhD dropout in AI myself from IIT Delhi. So, and again, I worked very much in the areas of. You would see some of my podcasts around. Yeah, I myself built a multi-agent framework in 2024. I called it as AGACP. You can check out. You will find it out in this as well. I presented that in Seattle Tech Week when I was in Seattle 2 years ago. Suraj Pai, what about software testing? I still see a lot of manual testers. No, software testing is doomed actually. Manual, forget about it. I mean, the companies that are using manual testing, they'll just shut shop like very quickly. Um, Even before AI had become so pervasive now, how it has now, already in our companies, whether it is Microsoft, Walmart, Indeed, Google, Meta, they were already focusing on move left. So in a software development lifecycle, right, you start out with like requirement, design, coding, testing, production, right? That's the process. So move left is that give all the responsibility for testing and all to the software developers itself. So yes, manual testing. Do not go into manual testing, even if there are certain people that are in manual testing will be out of job very quickly. In fact, even automation testing is going to be very risky actually. Nancy, sir, you give me your wrong Gmail. No, it is real talks AG. Oh, sorry, maybe I gave you wrong. This is my real talks AG at gmail.com. This is my correct one. Sorry if I have given the wrong ones. Sorry about that. So this is my email ID. You can check it out. Then I have Vikas Communication, doing my PhD in AI too alongside work. Thinking of dropping, no use of degrees now. I learn more on my own. Yeah, I think that could be a good thing. I mean, the only I would say, at least for the short to medium term, I mean, a PhD in AI could be very good because at least all the frontier labs are actually hiring, people with PhD in like physics and maths and these fields. So if you can grab that kind of a job because of your PhD credentials, I think it is a good thing to do because they are paying like over $1 million in salary and whatnot. So I mean, if you can grab that kind of thing, at least it will secure your future. Even if you do not have a job after 1 or 2 or 3 years, you would have made enough money that at least your life will be set. Life will be set in India. If I were you and if I still had the capacity to do the PhD, I would definitely do it. If you have the, you know, if you do understand the codes of kernels and all the hardcore algorithms that are being built, and you're good in like statistics and mathematics and calculus and whatnot, then I'll encourage you. If you're already in PhD, just get that degree, apply in all Google, Microsoft, Amazon, get that $1 million salary, work for 1 or 2 years, and even if they fire you, good for you. Nancy, are you dropped out from IT Delhi? Yes, sir, I am. So, which is long time back. I dropped out way like almost 15 years back, 15, 16 years back. Vikas Communication, I'm doing PhD in AI, safety and fairness. I picked the subject. It is as it would be a backup if I lose my applied AI job to AI. Yeah. Safety and fairness, I think this would come in trust and safety field actually. So I would imagine if you do fundamental research and all, there you would have a higher chance of like securing a $1 million job. But maybe in trust and safety also they may give that kind of salaries as well. So but yeah, you're right, like there is tons of opportunity to just learn. But if it is not too much of a stress for you, and if you can convert this PhD into an actual frontier lab job for building LLMs and all, it can be very rewarding. Everyone I know, like Meta, like OpenAI, Anthropic, Thinking Machine Lab, that Lee Kuhn's company, I don't even remember what's the name. Everyone is hiring actually. So it could be a great area to make some money before the party stops. Actually. Oh wow! So it is fundamentally built my own glass box transformer writing a paper. Very good, very good. You should definitely then try for those frontier labs, right? I mean, right now it's like a wild west and gold's arms race. So while everyone is pumping the money, it's better to do it now before the money train basically drops. So you should definitely apply for all those frontier labs. I would encourage you to do that with your PhD credentials, and even you try. Mercor Lab is there, right? They do hire a lot of freelancers who have PhDs and whatnot, who can do data labeling or help them build the prompts better and things like that. So you can even try that as a like a moonlighting gig if, for whatever your full-time job is. You can do it along with that and make some additional money. Because truth be told, we all know like jobs are no longer safe, and any day any company can basically fire anyone for whatever reasons or zero reasons as well. So we have to be very categorical about ourselves. So we should make sure that we have enough revenue streams, and we are paying a lot of attention. So that's all actually from my side today. I hope you are enjoying your time, and my kid is actually moving from here and there, so I have to tend, because for him to sit in one location is very difficult. So he's moving from here and there. So, and today the podcast has been pretty long but very fulfilling, because a lot of question answers were there, and it's always very exciting to answer people. So, but I like to wrap up. But let me just see if there are a couple of more questions that are there. So Nikishan already have two jobs. I don't live in India. Moonlighting is safe in Japan. Oh, very good, excellent. In fact, when I was in the US, I also had uh, two. Yeah, I did it for pretty much. Because I run my own business, right? So it's easier in business. Anyway, like till 2023, we had so much work that me, my wife, all of us had multiple work coming to our way, and we had to basically decline work. But after first like Q1 of 2023, everything changed for me actually, and our company and our situation. But yeah, that's how life is. But good for you. I mean, absolutely great. Then we have talkative. Sir, do computer science education have any future? I am faculty in private engineering college. I mean, computer science definitely has a future if people focus on computer sciences, right? Traditionally, what has happened in India, people have focused too much on computer applications rather than computer sciences, because you could get a software application job, and software saw a lot of growth in the past 2 3 decades. So people were very happy; they were making tons of money, and everything was good. So I made another podcast. You check it out specifically upon computer science. So if you are really a computer scientist, meaning core algorithms, operating system kernels, networking, and theoretical computer science, if that's the area you can focus upon and you can gain expertise, I think that will still be in high demand, so that you can still build operating systems, you can still write LLMs and things like that, right? Those will be required, and you are solid in like mathematics and whatnot. But then if your focus is just going to do programming and things along those lines, then that field no longer will be lucrative. So that's my answer. Sorry, it's not a small answer, but I still believe computer science is very good. It's just that how you apply it is going to change as you go forward. Then I have Harinder. Sir, what do you think about technical documentation, user manuals? Will it be automated using AI? Perfectly, yes. They are prime example of automation actually. I think the only catch here is that maybe a lot of the entry level and medium level like user experience uh, technical writers etc will be replaced by AI. Maybe the more senior ones and all would be there to do like proofreading and making sure like it is good to go before you showcase it to the client. So that's how I see. So I can see this will impact very very heavily by AI. Similarly, all your language translation, transcription business, all of those are like very heavily going to be replaced by AI. Uh, Dant Viper, sir, what is your year of experience? You make a guess. It's in decades actually. So that's the. But given how I look and things like that, how I speak, you make a guess, but it's in decades. So, so I think it's a great conversation today. Like, really appreciate all of you joining and asking me a lot of questions. If there are still more questions, I'm happy to answer them. If not, you can always write to me over the, you know, YouTube, and I'll be happy to respond back. If you like this, please like, share, and subscribe. Do suggest any other areas you would like for me to go deep on my next podcast. But again, be prepared. In 2026 itself, AI has replaced a lot of focus, especially in coding, the rudimentary CRUD-based application, full stack application, things like that. Of course, a lot of your testing and all those things, technical writing, are also going to be replaced. A lot of marketing campaigns, etc., already are being done through AI. Creative work like copy editing, copywriting, editorials, video, audio are being done by AI very heavily. Uh, Layoffs are continuing. We are seeing then, in addition to that, basically, uh, uh, Dant Viper says massive layoffs are inevitable. Yes, they are inevitable because India woken up kind of late. US has already been seeing this bloodbath since last 3.5 years. Like, technically, it is uh, Q4 of 2022 is when it started out, and every year it has been like one layoff after another, right? And we are already in the year four at this point of time. India, this magic only started probably last year, I would say, heavily, right? So we would see much more heavier layoffs as we go forward in this year, in US and in India also. So there is no two ways about it. And BPO and outsourcing industry is the heavy hit because voice agents have already taken over. I would say at least 10 to 20% of the outsourced jobs, and this number will continue to keep increasing as the days pass. So again, that will bring a lot of unemployment in the Indian market, and all the white collar knowledge economy jobs are at the greatest risk, and the immediate to mid kind of timeline, and even the physical jobs are going to get hit more towards a mid to long timeline. So when I say short term is more like 1 to 2 years, mid is more like 5 to 6 years, and long term is more like around a decade or so. So that's the kind of timeline I am presenting, and I hope I am wrong because that will be good for everyone else. But all my education, my conversation, my research points me to what I'm just speaking. uh, Talkative, where will future job opportunities will be for computer and electronics engineers? So again, I have made a detailed podcast. I'll encourage you to check it out. But in a nutshell, I'll tell, like, ocean research, space research, well-being, human genomics, genetics, healthcare. Those are nuclear fission, nuclear fusion reaction, clean energy, solar energy. All those areas are up for innovation, and tons of investments will happen in these areas. So you should definitely check it out. How computers and electronics can help support these sectors. Nancy, मेरी लाइफ में कोविड 19 आना था और आई फील बैड. Sir, yeah, I mean, these are kind of black swan events, like nobody can predict them. I know after COVID, a lot of people got double salary, triple salary in 2021, 2022. There was a lot of things happening in India, I know for sure. And but things started changing in like 2023 onwards. So we have to just live with it. But again, I think I made this comment in my last podcast as well, that everyone's times comes, but only people who keep working, keep up leveling themselves, keep focused, can basically grab the opportunity when the right time comes and be good with it. So you have to continuously work hard, keep up leveling yourself, keep motivated, and when your time comes, you will automatically start running. Maybe now is not the time, but whenever it comes, see, if you are prepared, if you keep uh, yourself open, if you're adaptable, someday or the other your time will come. But then you should be ready to pounce and grab that opportunity that comes at that point of time. So continuously keep preparing yourself. Whenever that time comes, you can basically, you will run, the time will work for you, you will not work for the time. So currently pay your debts, work for the time. When the time comes, the time will work for you, you will not have to work for the time. And it will happen for everyone. That's what my belief is. uh, Dan Viper, what to do? Government job? Yeah, you can try if you have, all the, efforts that you can do. But my suspicion is even government jobs will decline in the future. They will not remain as many. यंग नैन्सी, मैंने आपको मेल कर दिया है सर. ओके, आई चेक इट आउट एंड रिस्पॉन्ड. Lakshay Sharma, I am thinking of doing BCA this year. Will it be worth it? Can give me overview, sir. So Lakshay, you can definitely do BCA and all, not a problem there. But I think I have already made a podcast on like CS and what its value is. So I'll encourage you to go check that out. That if you focus on core computer science skills, which is like operating systems, networking, theoretical computer science, core mathematics like calculus and things like that, if you think you're really good in that, then your BCA degree will help you because you will become master in core computer science. But if your focus is on getting a like a programming job and all, then those days are over. Then you will not get a job actually. And Lakshay Sharma and MS in US, what do you think? I think right now doing an MS in US is very very risky. So if you're doing BCA, it'll take you 3 years, 3 years plus 2 years. I think degrees won't matter in future actually. So I don't think it is going to be a very a good investment from your side. Uh, uh, Young Nancy, CS means company secretary. Yes, it means company secretary, but what I was referring to CS is computer science actually. Talkative, if there is no jobs, what's the point of studying, and who will buy these things to let other business running? So you're right. That's what, there is another podcast I built, which is known as AI is going to produce deflation actually in the whole economy. So this is a real danger that we are all going to experience very very shortly. In the next 1 or 2 years itself, we'll start seeing that happening. So that is going to be a big difficulty. I think the way we should look at education is that it should build us certain critical thinking skills, our knowledge about what is happening, etc. So maybe degree will not be the right thing to do in the future, but as long as you are self-taught, you understand subjects, you have good critical thinking skills, that will serve you the best in the future. Yeah, uh, I think courses will still be there. Like if you go deep in physics, computer sciences, mathematics. So I think all the fundamental courses which really build your critical skills, math, chemistry, bio, will still be good because it builds your critical thinking skills, it builds your knowledge and all, and then you have to apply them. Will still be good, but lot of courses around skills and application will no longer be relevant because most of that can be done by AI. But understanding STEM, understanding history, civics, economics, basically gives you the ability to think. So that is very important. So if you skip that, then you will just become a slave of AI. You should be master of AI, not the slave of it. And for that, you need to be educated, if it makes sense. Uh, Lakshay Sharma. Uh, what do you think? No course left, then yes, no course. Dant Viper, I think Musk is correct in saying there will be universal high income in future. So I don't know high income, but at least we should all try for universal basic income, if not high. Uh, यंग नैन्सी कब कब एंड करोगे आप? बस आई एम गोइंग टू एंड शॉर्टली. आई एम जस्ट गोइंग थ्रू some of the questions that are there, and I'll just wrap it up. Karan Rochlani. And what about CM and CA? Yeah, I think these are going to get automated very quickly. So anything that is step by step that can be done through a algorithm will be automated for sure. So accounting and all, cost accounting, balance sheets, statements, etc. Already ChatGPT can do a lot of the work. A lot of my CA people that I know are already using ChatGPT to generate all these, reports, and they're saying they're already shit scared that it is already doing so well. In future, it is only going to get better. Talkative, sir, if I create a Microsoft microscope setup in my home and keep taking thousands of Microsoft images of plants and insects and upload them in GitHub for AI research, can that be a good business option? Oh wow, that's a very innovative and good business option. You should definitely do. Very very good thing, I think. Programming for Java, people who can build solution and sell creatively are going to thrive. Absolutely. So when the AI tools become pervasive and everyone has them, right? People who have creative bent of mind and can create something innovative will definitely have a leg up. Rahul Prasad, I think AI will just replace almost 70% IT employees, including developers. It has already started to replace, but people are not ready to accept this. They believe developer can't be replaced. Absolutely, sir. I also believe the same thing. It has already started. It's just that people are either ignorant or they don't want to see the truth. Coffee is already brewing. They just have to smell it. Lakshay Sharma. I have two options rather to join my family business in India or BCA in India and master in computer science and settle in US. Will it be worth it? Yeah, I think you should definitely do business in India and also in parallel do your BCA if you have analytical belt of mind and if you think you can really get into technical like really deep in mathematics and as I talked about courses, if you can get that then computer sciences is good for you. If not then just programming will not cut it. uh, and then Nancy, Karan, are you doing BCom? So I'm not sure. So that's all from my side. I guess you all had a great time. There is another question. Okay, Vikas Sunni Kannan, uh, would be great in your future podcast if you can cover drill down of opportunities with AI and where AI will automate. Sure. I think to some degree I've already covered those as well. So you can check out my podcast. It talks about opportunities in post AI world a decade down the line. I think that's what the title is, or something along those lines. So there I've actually explored several areas, and some of them were like healthcare and ocean tech, clean tech, and space exploration and things along those lines. Talkative, your podcast has been just awesome. It feels almost like speaking to our college senior. We'll attend your postcards in future. Thank you, sir. Talkative. Uh, Dan Viper. Big tech engineers from Google, Meta, Amazon will also be replaced. Yes, they will be. They're already like laying off like tens of thousands of people. So they're already happening as we see it. Every of these company have laid off like 10,000, 30,000 people for the last several years now. Rahul Prasad, nobody knows what will happen in next 2 3 years. As a result of AI, there will be huge competition in government sector. People will move to prepare for government jobs. Absolutely, like government jobs will also get lower. Actually, like the number of government jobs will also go down as future basically holds. So even that is not going to be a safe place for people. Suman, thank you, sir, for your live. Please do come every Sunday for few minutes at least. Sir, this is a problem that I have. I can't guarantee I come kind of on demand whenever I get time because, as you would have seen, I have two young kids, so it's kind of little bit difficult for me. As it is, my younger one is moving here and there, so um, it's very difficult for me to manage like my kids and my wife is also kind of like has a healthcare cancer condition, right? So it's a little bit challenging for me. So whenever I get time, I come, but I can't plan it in advance. Manish, I actually come like all podcasts that I do are all live. I no longer record and then upload it. So it's just too much effort for me. So I much rather just go live. That's how I do it for the last 1.5 year now. Manish, I am in final year of BTech, not having any interest in coding. Any career opportunities for me? If you have any suggestion, please. So check my podcast. There are multiple of them. I did talk about people who can pick up like data engineering, which still has programming, but product management, program management, and other area, architecture. Those are other areas where people can pick up. But again, all these are getting kind of impacted by AI. So don't have very high hopes. But these are other alternative career options other than coding. Uh, Shanu Gaur, secret of your hairstyle, please tell. I did not have a haircut. That's just the secret. So I have to have a haircut. It's very untidy, and I have to keep like managing. So I think you are the first one who seems to be liking them, but it's just like unkept and very untidy. I have to get haircut. It's just that it was so hot, so I didn't go to the barber to get them cut. So that's what I'm going to do. Yeah. Hmm. So next is uh, thank you guys. Let him have his dinner now. Yeah, sure. Thank you, Vikas Kannan. Like I already had my dinner. I generally eat before sunset. Yeah, mm, yeah, yeah. I generally eat before my sunset. Mm, so I'll be just wrapping up shortly. So before I do that, I'll just wrap up some of the questions that are there, and I'll get going from there. So what else is there? So sorry, I'm just walking because I have to make sure that my kids are also like taken care of. So today you also get a kind of a walk of my home as well. So I've been going from kitchen to one place to another. But then let's see. So, so Lakshya Sharma, it is because overhearing in company layoffs are there. They do it to increase the revenue, increase their EPS. Yeah, that part is true. I mean, a lot of these companies are doing these layoffs, and um, generally for short term, at least their earnings per share increases. But whether this playbook will remain or not is whether their playbook will remain or not is a like a question mark. But for now, it seems that whenever they basically increase their layoff numbers, etc., then essentially we see that. So hopefully you will continue to hear me. I'm just going to grab something for my kid to eat, but I hope you are still kind of able to hear me. So essentially, uh, so EPS's point is good, but we don't know for long if this is going to continue. Then Farah Hussain, is it worth to be a developer? I mean, if you are going to be a like a run of the mill developer, then definitely that's not going to be worth it going forward. But if you can be like a hardcore deep dive developer, then that could be of of good help for you. Then Suman, sir, what is the future of data engineers? Same, no different, same as other engineers. Just that in the short term, there are a lot of data opportunities because you have to prepare data, training data set for AI and things like that. But there is no reason why it cannot be done through agents as well. So it will be not much different than a regular software engineer. But in the short run, there is definitely some higher demand that we are seeing on the data engineering side. So that would be of help for you for now. So that's there. And let me read one more thing. So what else is the question? Uh, Tell your kid not to study. It's a trap. Yeah, I mean, uh, study is still good, right? I mean, it's not a trap, but I'm not going to push them to like struggle for competitive exams and this and that. but at least basic critical thinking and all. I'm very happy, in fact, with their school. I have seen their like English and mathematics books and things like that. They're actually pretty good. They are not focused on basically memorizing things, but they're more about giving examples of what the daily activities are, and through that they're teaching it. So I think that's like key essential skills, helps build thinking, helps build ability to you know articulate things and things like that. So that's what my kids are focusing on, and I think that's something everyone should do. So then next, um, what else is there? Suraj Pai, what's your advice for software engineer already working in this sector? Any suggestions? Lot of suggestions, sir. You please go and check out my podcast. Um, Continue to keep working hard. Keep up leveling yourself. Pick up AI tools so that you have ancillary skills that are in high demand, at least as of present. But be prepared for layoffs. No matter what, anyone can get laid off. Actually, then. Shanu Gaur, Dant Viper, what nonsense? Primary literacy is needed. Yeah, primary literacy is very much needed actually. Otherwise, it will be very hard to communicate. I think what I think Dant Viper was trying to say was like, don't go in like higher studies and degrees and all. I think in that sense, he's right. But yes, education is still needed so that you are able to communicate and be able to think through yourself and things like that. Your Nancy, same T-shirt I have. Good. This is actually active wear. Actually, this is not even T-shirt. This is my gym shirt actually. Uh, so good. Uh, Shanu Gaur, you have a nice dimple, bro. How you got it, sir? God gift, both side. Even Mr. Pappu also have dimples. So maybe people should not mistake me as Mr. Raga. He also has dimples, I guess, on both the cheeks. I too. Have it since birth. I read somewhere it is some congenital problem because of which you get dimples on the cheeks, but apparently seems like a beautification figure. So okay, so then I have question Vivek Pandey. I have two options rather to join a family business in India or BCA in India and master. Oh, I I think you already. I think Vivek Pandey already asked this question, isn't it? Uh, so yeah, I think settling in US and all. I mean, if you, it seems just based on the question you're asking, looks like you come from a well-to-do family. So maybe for now you can just focus on the business that your parents have and continue to grow from there. In parallel, you can continue to still do your BCA. If you have like hardcore skills and things like that, I think that can help you there. But then, if you are hoping that uh, just by regular BCA and MS you can settle in US, those days are over actually because it will be very hard to get a H1B visa because the market has completely changed, and I don't think H1B visa will any longer be the right thing in the next 3 to 4 years going forward. Uh, Dant Viper, sir, are you afraid of layoff? Sir, I run my own company, so nobody can lay me off. But because my customers can bail out on me, that's kind of layoff. So I've been in the company for over a decade, so I've seen many cycles of ups and downs. So technically, one of the reasons to come back to India was to fire, right? So I don't care about the money that I make or anything like that because at least financially I'm kind of stable from that perspective. So we are good from that. So I don't have to worry about layoffs and this and that. Dan Viper, I meant don't you work too hard. No, I chill actually. I don't work very hard. I mean, hard in the sense that I have to, like, because I don't have legs and um, I have to take care of both of my kids, and I have to spend hours in understanding like healthcare and cancer and all those things. But good point is that I am very inquisitive in nature by default, right? And because of that, It basically stimulates my brain. So in that sense it is kind of good, but then yes, it is a lot of work because you have to do physical work at your home in addition to that. And then you have to basically take care of your kids, um, and then because I've just moved to India and market is not that great, so it's very hard to pick up like a remote opportunity, even though I do keep getting a lot of requests for pretty, but they all keep calling me for work from office. And at least I'm at a state in my lifestyle and my career that since I don't need the job, so I can always decline it, which is what I do. Because if I get a like a remote and all where they give me a lot of flexibility, I can continue to build my podcast, I can spend time with my family. That's the kind of job I want. But it's hard to basically get job on your own terms, so it's difficult for me to pick up something in India at the moment. Then I Vivek Pandey. I mean Vivek Pandey. Somehow something is wrong with your. You keep asking the same question, or maybe there is something wrong with your browser or something. So I'll just skip it. Sean Gore, no, they would not mistake you for him because you are sensible and seen. Like, oh, thank you. Yeah, yeah. I was just making it as a joke. I mean, all politicians in India are jokers, uh, and they conduct very good circus, and we are the subjects who have to deal with the circus that ensues in India. So that's that. Then. Again, Vivek Pandey's question is repeating. Not sure. Is by any way Vivek Pandey is a bot or something? I'm not sure because same thing keeps getting repeated. But anyway, Sean Gore, you are based out of where? I'm from Delhi at the moment. uh, Walk 05, are you happy? Sir, yes, I'm pretty happy actually. I mean, all the time you'll see whenever I'm talking and all, and since it is live podcast, right? I can't even share like mask my emotions. I'm not a very good actor, and you will see that I smile multiple times during my podcasts and things like that. So I'm pretty happy with where I have landed and what I do, uh, and as you can see, it's a live, right? So it's not prepared podcast. People are throwing random questions, and I'm trying to answer to the best of my abilities. And since it is enjoyable to me, that is why I'm able to do it. And yeah, and then uh, Dant Viper, you are in India. I thought you are in US. Yeah, I was in the US last year. I moved to India actually. And then Enigma 7080. Welcome back, Enigma. I think this is after a very long time you have joined the live. Those entered in IT sector in 2000s and now having good life, they would have accumulated 5 to 10 crore by now. Yeah, you are right actually. Many people who have been in for 2 decades should be at least be around that. Depends also if they worked in like product company or like service companies, that may also have a bearing on like how much you were able to earn. But more or less I think your figure seems to be pretty reasonable. And then um, Kabir Kapoor, if things stay the way they are, do you believe leaving this country is the only option? I mean, not many people will be able to leave the country because, only select few people have the money and the resources to kind of move out of the country. Majority of the people are anyway like poor and middle class. The only way they could move out was through either a job or let's say from education, right? Now, education source will basically cease to exist, so there will not be much opportunity. And problem is there across the world, not that developed countries will not experience this kind of a problem. So it is going to be bad for everyone. Like you can see how many people are leaving Canada and coming back actually, because Canada has become complete shithole at the moment. And a lot of people I know who had migrated there towards COVID and all are now returning back to India. So I don't think things are going to be any different in other countries. It is going to get worse, like including US and things like that. So I'm not sure. Like like common people can even try to go out. um, and rich people definitely can do, like they can do, but I don't see there will be lot. I mean, if they are going there for environment and systematic things and all, yes, that definitely will be a advantage, and for that they can even try going to like Malaysia, even Thailand, and these are much cheaper countries. But then but I don't think from a job perspective or business perspective it will be any which way better than because AI will basically topple everything. Or relocate to another state. Relocate to another state. I mean, state I didn't get, like, I mean, yeah, sure. I mean, you can go to a better state. Like we ourselves wanted to go to like Dehradun and Uttarakhand and area, but couldn't do because of the health issues. But yeah, I think state people can definitely. I'm not sure if I'm following your question as yes, as cost of living is far lower than the developed West. So, which Indian state you believe is better for a North Indian? Yeah, I think somewhere around, I guess, either like if you can deal Jaipur and Jaipur suburbs, I think is pretty decent in terms of cost of living, and I think it gives you good kind of. I think Bhopal area I have heard is like really good, but I think the weather there is not conducive. So my inclination was towards more towards like Dehradun and Rishikesh kind of an area, which is not very far from Delhi. The weather is good, and kind of cost of living is like better. That's what I was thinking from a North India perspective. But I think in South you have like a lot of good places like Munnar is very good, Kodaikanal. Uh, I think then what was the place where Rahul Gandhi uh, Wayanad is very good. These are all like hill stations in South India, right? I mean, if you have a remote job or you want to cut down the cost and you need some green area and some cool area, I think these places are like really good. Vivek Pandey, is AI bubble real? When is bringing down the industry? I mean, AI bubble is real, that's for sure. But the bubble is in the terms of the valuations these companies are getting. But it's not a bubble in the sense of the kind of productivity improvement that AI can bring. So it's a kind of a nonce kind of a thing. So yes, there is bubble because the valuations are very frothy, and so many companies are getting into AI. So from that perspective, it is a bubble for sure, which means when the bubble bursts, then a lot of funding will dry up in AI, and many of these companies will undergo either they'll go down or they'll get acquired by other companies. But AI as a platform and infrastructure is going to remain because it is really demonstrated like productivity as a big use case, right? So from that perspective, it will continue to keep going ahead. But yes, a lot of frothy valuations, multiple companies, they can come down for sure. Well, did you experience any racism in US? Uh, I don't think so. Because I think it could be also that I only lived in like coastal cities, right? Like Seattle, San Francisco, New York, New Jersey, and maybe Austin, etc. Or maybe you can say mostly the places I lived were all like democratic, like party, like strongholds. So I'd never lived in like some Louisiana or Kentucky or Midwest or whatever, right? So I personally did not experience a lot of racism. Then Vivek, again the question is repeating. Vivek, you need to check out something is going on in your, side. Like every question that you write seems to repeat again and again. Enigma, IT is a sector where you can have to take advantage of hype, be it COVID or AI. Absolutely, till the time people are hiring for AI prompt engineers and whatnot, make hay while the like make merry, like try to make as much money as possible because don't know how long this will last. Because once they start focusing on automation and all agents, then you don't even need prompt engineers also actually. Kabir Kapoor, walk. There is no racism in US. Asia is the most racist continent where people they discriminate against their own citizens based on the caste, color, language, and education. Yeah, I think this is quite true actually. I mean, but we cannot say there is no racism at all in US. I personally did not uh, saw racism, but I think racism is more kind of subtle. It's not on your face racism, like they will not abuse you right on your face, but like how promotions happens or who you become friends with, which parties do you attend and all. So if you live enough in the US, there is a subtle way, like you have like white colonies and then you have black neighborhoods and then you have Asian neighborhoods. So you do have ghettoization of communities, um, even in the schools, even in the kind of businesses, the relationships that you see. You will find racism, but it's more subtle. It is not on your face. That's the way I'll paint the picture in the US. Dant Viper, many are returning from abroad. Why? What health issues? Who are you? Ah. So Dant Viper, many are returning because the opportunities are not there. Like in US alone, like Trump has made life of people very difficult with a lot of taxes and tariffs, and then issues with the H1 visas and things like that, and constant layoffs. Right. So that's a trend that people are not able to survive, and inflations are very high. A health issue I think is very well known. I had covered, like my wife got cancer actually, because of which we moved to India last year. Uh, Samar Samartha Sapakota. Samarat Spakota. Who are you? I am a simple. I am not a bot. I am a real person like yourself. If you are not a bot. Vivek Pandey, again repeat question. Vivek Pandey, again repeat. Kabir Kapoor, but the job prospects are not lucrative in Dehradun or Rishikesh. And in the south, Maharashtra, Kolkata, and Gujarat, there is racism against North Indians. Please correct me if I'm wrong. You are right. I mean, this is only if I was saying, speaking with respect to if you have a remote gig or if you are like kind of fire mode. I did not even think about any job or anything like that. So I was speaking from my perspective. But you are right. I mean, if job is a concern, then you have to be in a metro city or somewhere nearby. So, and no metro city is worth living in India actually. So that's like a big drawback. And you're right. In South and all, there is a lot of racism against North Indians. Mood motion. What jobs are at high risk? All knowledge economy jobs are at high risk. Vivek Pandey. Cost of living is far lower than the developed West. So, which Indian state you believe is better for North Indian? State wise, I think I am in Delhi, so I'm in like Indrapuram. It is like technically UP, but it is part of NCR, so it's kind of Delhi. So, and I'm originally from Delhi, so I like it very much here. And cost wise, I mean, of course, it has become pretty expensive. Um, but I think as far as Bangalore, Hyderabad, and these places are concerned, I find Delhi to be still cheaper as compared to these places, for the value that you get in Delhi. But I think uh, probably like Chandigarh, maybe Dehradun, I think are much better places, I guess, with the environment and pollution and all those things. And I think cost of living wise also, they must be better than Delhi. I'm not too sure. I think they should be cheaper than Delhi. Then Vivek, had jobs are at high risk. What I think you are asking, what knowledge economy jobs, any job that has data as their fundamental core are at high risk. So basically, consulting, coding, legal, healthcare, all the jobs which are traditionally considered as service economy are white collar traditional jobs. Accounting, all of them are at high risk. Enigma, one advice to IT working people that while you are in job, try to replace your active income with passive income. Yeah, I think that's a very good point. Like having more number of income parallel pipelines will basically help everyone. Danthveer, sorry to hear. No worries, Danthveer, Viper. Then I have uh, I have Vivek Pandey. One advice to IT working people that while you are in job, very good advice. Uh, then I have Abhi Roop Sen Gupta. I think it will take at least upcoming 4 to 5 years to things to stabilize if anyone able to survive this or able to switch this. He or she can make good money in next 10 years. What you say? So, sir, stability. So there will be definitely like stability in the sense that the hype in AI will die down for sure, and you are right. In the next 4 to 5 years, we should see that, but it will not be stability for people because most of the people would have lost jobs by that time actually. So it will be more chaotic situation, I would say, rather than stability. So and people would not be able to make good money in 10 years unless they belong to either already a rich class or they are super intelligent that they are able to align themselves with the rich class or the AI natives, as I call them. So actually, the way I see it is that AI will create deflation. So the cost of producing goods will go down, revenues of the companies will go down, so will their profits. As a result, they will fire more people because they no longer can sustain big workforce. Uh, Bigger companies can still survive, but small and medium businesses will perish as more people get basically out of the job market. It will create a lot of unrest and difficulty for these people. AI will continue to focus on less number of lean teams doing more work, which will further push out people out. And as a result, in the end, I see few companies that are top AI natives and AI warlords will run the entire ecosystems, and the whole middle class will get squeezed or basically cease to exist. And then pretty much everybody will be working for either these companies or they will be getting UBI income. That's the world I see. Only if people are extremely intelligent or they're already aligned themselves with the rich folks, they are the only ones who will be with the elites, but everybody else will be in the long tail of universal basic income. That's where I see in the next decade people land into. I'm not sure where I will land, but that's how I foresee things are changing. Enigma. I work in all metro cities: Chennai, Mumbai, Pune, Noida, and Gurgaon, and Pune. Very good. Like I have also worked in pretty much Mumbai, Pune, Noida, Gurgaon, Hyderabad, Bangalore. Vivek, again the same advice. Enigma. No more cities are worth living. Uh, yes, it is garbage everywhere. Enigma, you are very right. Uh, Abhir Roop Sen Gupta, Pune and Hyderabad is also cheaper. Yeah, Pune could be cheaper. Hyderabad, I'm not sure. I mean, Bangalore for sure is very expensive. I used to live in Madhapur, if I recollect, but that was way back, 2008, 2009 time frame. I find Delhi to be cheaper than Hyderabad and Bangalore, and even to some degree, I think Pune also. Uh, Abhi Roop Sen Gupta, if you can bear the heat, Chennai is also cheaper. Yeah, Chennai is like very, very hot. Yeah, you're right. Chennai is cheaper. I heard that also. But I've never lived in Chennai. Kapoor, Vivek Pandey, please stop spamming. And yeah, same question. I think like Vivek Pandey perhaps has some, I guess, some problem in his system or something like that. Same question keeps coming again and again. Thanks, Kabir. Abir Sen Gupta, Noida, NCR, Mumbai, BKC area, Bangalore is costlier. Right, right, right. Okay. Abir Sen Gupta, Kolkata is cheapest but no job. Yeah, I heard Kolkata is the cheapest because sometimes I see those street food videos, and even in this age they sell some street food for 20 or 30 rupees, which is not at all imaginable now. Because even in Delhi, I think the cheapest now you can get is for, I guess, 50 rupees. फैंटम यमराज, हाय मेरी बात का सॉल्यूशन दोगे? भाई हम सिर्फ नौकरी गुलामी करने की क्यों बात करते हैं, सपोर्ट को नहीं करा बिजनेस के लिए? बस एक मालिक से दूसरे मालिक के लिए गुलाम जॉब स्विच. Yes, Phantom, you are saying right, but we romanticize like entrepreneurship quite a bit. I myself am an entrepreneur for over 10 years. Let me just tell you, it's not at all easy, and everyone doesn't have a like appetite to be an entrepreneur, let alone running it for over a decade or so, because there's just too many ups and downs. But yes, if you have appetite and if you can take the risk and bear the consequences, go for it. But you did make a good point that people who have backup resources, they have the money, they have the will, they have the skills, then definitely we should try for entrepreneurship and not just depend upon a job. Then we have Ashish Slice. So, based on this, do you think the home loans and the car loan market will fall, and we are going to see a lot of NPS going forward directly linked to these IT employees? Absolutely. Even without that, already NPAs are pretty increasing actually, because car sales and home sales are already down. Enigma, Pune is the cheapest and the best place for North Indian. Yeah, I think Pune, you are right. I used to live in Senapati Bapat Road way back in 2006 near like Pune University. Or what was its name? Shivaji Nagar, if I'm not wrong. The Shivaji Nagar was the place where I used to live on Senapati Bapat Road. Uh, Abir Roop Sen Gupta, please ask or remind your subscribers or friend to not to invest in any upcoming real estate. Always go for old established township or societies. My NRI friends and relatives have burned their savings. Absolutely, I think you are making very valid point. In fact, I have built a podcast on real estate crisis and things like that. So yes, don't go for new societies because India has just zero, legal, compliance, and you can keep running in courts and you will not get justice and you'll burn your hard-earned money. So better go for societies that are well maintained. Talk to the people. That's why I also live in a 20-year-old society known as ATS Advantage in Indrapuram. At least I know what I can get here, and it's a pretty good society out here in NCR region. Enigma, Delhi is cheaper if you have your home, else you will be crushed. Yeah, you are right. Like nowadays, the rent prices and all are very, very high. uh, Abhiroop Sengupta in pre-launch and under construction. Absolutely, that's the reason I also got many offers of under construction in like Noida, Greater Noida, even in Indrapuram. I think Shobha developers are coming and they are launching Shobha or Prestige. I forgot. In Indrapuram itself, they have launched it, but I did not invest there because I've already burnt my hands once with Parshnath in 2006, and still I did not get the flat, so I'll not do it again. Kabir Kapoor, I believe our demographic dividend will turn into demographic liability as our education system is not equipped to deal with AI transformation. Do you believe the civil unrest in North India is inevitable? I think it is not only going to be North India, it is going to be entire India, and it is not going to be limited to India alone. Across the world, we will see a lot of civil unrest actually. And India is more challenging because being a poor country and just having too many people, it is going to create a lot of problem actually. And Reason is that people are not even debating about it, they're not thinking about it. and uh, and I think it's not even people's problem, because people who are doing like gig work or like who are maids and all, they eat every day, they work every day, right? They don't have that much brain capacity or enough free time to think about future or intellectually have debates and things like that, right? Because they are trying to make their ends meet and they're busy with their work. As it is, it's too hot outside in India, so I don't like blame those people. But even for person like myself who at least have time to think through these things and uh, look at macroeconomics and talk to people, even my hands are also tied, right? I can only analyze what is happening, maybe present solutions and all. But even in my own personal capacity, I'm not able to actually create a solution. All I'm trying to do is educate people, make them aware, and maybe someday if some government official hears these things out, may do some actions and all. But yeah, that's all we can do. Then uh, Abhiroop Sengupta, especially who have money and are coming back to India. Here, RERA is for actually protecting of builders only. Absolutely right. RERA, no RERA, it has no meaning. You go to consumer code, RERA, normal code, civil code. It's all useless actually in India. Like, um, like, like you can't expect justice in India. It's like all over the place. Enigma, do not buy anything now. All are going to default due to job losses. Buy only ready to home. Absolutely, completely agree with you. And that's why I did not buy anything. In fact, I delayed my buying also because I have a slight suspicion that maybe, slightly, maybe some prices may also go down, though it has not happened till date now. Prices have actually remained same or at least even risen slightly, but number of sales have gone down. So I'm hoping maybe price drop also happens in India. So I think today has been by far my longest podcast. It's 2 hours and 30 minutes already. So I'll take your leave. I hope you all have enjoyable time, and please suggest anything that you would like for me to cover. And enjoy your time. Spend time with your family. Eat right, sleep right, and talk to you soon. There is one more question. Okay. Abhi Roop Sen Gupta, my CA friend who is also a SEBI registered investment, even investing in commodities like ETF, like silver, gold, where there they don't physical common peg to real estate. So I also bought ETF for silver actually, HDFC ETF for silver, and I bought it at a time when uh, it had dropped, and then within few days it went very high actually, and now I'm back to square one. It is back to my same price which I bought. I think it. I only bought it maybe 1.5 month back when there was too much fluctuation going on in silver and gold prices. Enigma, Indian cities will decongest due to job losses. Yes, I think we saw that in COVID time also, and possibly it will happen again because if you don't have a job, you can't sustain in the metro because the cost is very very high. Till the time you keep getting the salary, you can sustain, but the moment salary stops, you can't pay the rent, you can't buy products because they're so expensive. Yeah. Abhiroop Sengupta, take care. Good night. So, good night, everyone, and I hope you enjoy your time. Please like, share, and subscribe, and we'll meet again with another podcast. Till then, take care and have a nice day.